All right, Ez, we have a raven today from Lord Adam of House Neese.
Yeah, I think this is pretty cool. So this is the one I talked about at the top of the show, where essentially we're going to kind of take a look at really what he's doing is it's a book theory. So we're thinking about what is happening in the book currently. What do we know that's happening in the book? Where do we think that's going to go? How do we think the book is going to end? But we're also we're justifying that theory by some of the events that happen in season 8, trying to say, okay, does any of that back up this idea? And I also think to Sir Adam, Lord Adam of House Neese, that it's sort of like a wish list, because I'm reading through some of this and I'm thinking like, boy, I hope that happens. I hope it goes down that way. So yeah, let's get into this. So good day, sirs. First, let me say that I've been listening since the dawn age of Bend the Knee, and I love the podcast. My name is Lord Adam of House Neese. Sigil is a white skull and crossbones trimmed in gold upon a purple sea. House Neese hails from the eastern shore of Westeros, just south of Shipbreaker Bay. We are a shipbuilding family, but not war galleys. We build fishing and cargo vessels known to never have been sunk. That's pretty cool. We recently rose to prominence when it became known that my father built the ship that Sir Davos Seaworth used to smuggle onions to Stannis Baratheon during Robert's Rebellion. There you go. That's a cool connection. In fact, it was at Sir Davos's knighting ceremony where my father met my mother, Lady Blackwood. They first bonded over the fact that it was the oddest knighting ceremony they had ever seen. I'm sure, right? Okay. So now that the pleasantries are over, here we go. I want to share a theory that I've been thinking about, and about kind of the events that are going to transpire in the book. So during season 8, in one of your recap podcasts, someone mentioned that the Battle of King's Landing might happen before the battle against the Night King in the books. So just to recap that real quick for our friends here, we did, way back over a year ago, talk about the sequence of events, and that maybe these battles were going to be reversed in order, right? King's Landing battle happens first, and then we go fight the Night King. Okay, this is where my theory begins. Now, I've only read through A Storm of Swords, so I don't know much about Griff, young Griff, that is. Some people call him False Aegon, but yet hear me out. Griff turns out to be a red herring, and once he challenges Dany for the throne, she sentences him to death for treason. He demands a trial by combat in which Jon, who has now been proven to be a Targaryen, slays him. Thus you have Targaryen versus Blackfyre. So I thought that was pretty cool, Sir Matt. I was like, oh, that's cool. Viserion still dies north of the wall, but Rhaegal does not get killed. Jon is not a dragon rider yet. Okay? At the Dragon Pit meeting, Cersei denies to help the North. This sets off the battle for King's Landing. The same events in the show transpire, except with 2 dragons. In the aftermath, Dany is distraught with what she has done. She knows the only way to unite the people of Westeros against the true enemy would be her death, and for Jon to take the lead. She bares her chest to Jon, who then drives Longclaw through her heart. The sword burst into flame, becoming Lightbringer. Azor Ahai and Dany burn prophecy, right?
Right.
So I was like, wow. Okay. Basically, this is like, it takes me back to like pre-season 8, all the things that we thought maybe would happen.
It was the best. We were all speculating like crazy.
Yeah. So Jon now mounts Drogon and leads the people north to battle. Maybe Dany wargs into him, or maybe Drogon senses her in the sword or something.
Right.
Before the Battle of Winterfell, Bran finds out that Tyrion is indeed a Targaryen. Tyrion then mounts Rhaegal, becoming the 3rd dragon rider, meaning that Blackwater was just foreshadowing of Tyrion using green flame to protect the realm. It's kind of interesting, right? Big battle, good guy wins. Bran goes back north of the wall to be the 3-eyed crow. Jon and Drogon go with him with the intention of being able to stop White Walkers if they ever show up again or start to appear. Tyrion Targaryen rides Rhaegal to King's Landing and becomes king of the Seven Kingdoms with his queen, don't hate me, Sansa Stark. This fulfills the Ashford theory, and then that is, just to recap, that Sansa is going to marry these individuals that were also sort of the challengers or the defendants in the Ashford Meadow tourney. So Joffrey, Willis, Tyrion Lannister, Sweet Robin, and then Tyrion Targaryen. Okay. Rickon returns from Skagos to be Lord Regent of Winterfell until Eddard Robb Stark, true-born son of Robb Stark and Jane Westerling, comes of age, meaning the Grand Northern Conspiracy was keeping him safe and his identity secret. Gendry is legitimized and made Lord of Storm's End. Maybe Arya goes with him. Casterly Rock and Warden of the West is given to Sir Davos. Then there's an epilogue, and elderly Bronn is paid a visit by King Tyrion, and they reminisce about the good old days and give us a little insight on what's been going on in the kingdom. I know that's long. Feel free to poke holes, add on to, or omit whatever you deem necessary. Again, love the show. Thanks so much, Sir Adam. So a lot there, Sir Matt.
Oh, man, let me first say, okay, that it reminds me of how much fun and exciting it was to speculate and theorize on what we thought would happen in season 8, especially given the long time in between season 7s and seasons 8. Things I do think, and I agree with. Let me get this in here first. I do think that the King's Landing stuff will work itself out, and then it will be the battle of the White Walkers. Others will be the bigger deal in the end of this book series. I mean, he basically includes every big major theory to come true. The only thing I'll say is I just don't see George giving us this perfect ending, although it would be the one we would most unlikely suspect, right? I mean, the one that fans would literally be the least likely to suspect would be the ending in which where everybody wins, right? I mean, if you really want to throw everybody for a loop,
yeah.
I mean, because everyone's like, there's no way we would get that, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
There's no way we're getting that, and so that would be we talked about that a little bit going into season 8. Would be like, what if it is the ending, because it's so unlikely that it's what you get. And he does like unlikely things.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, Bran becoming king, Bran's unlikely, right? In the show. And then Aegon the unlikely, right? There's a lot of unlikely characters. Sir Duncan, right? He's kind of an unlikely guy.
Yeah.
All these unlikely people that rise to prominence. So yeah. Unlikely, but there is definitely some stuff I like in there, man. Everybody who kind of goes on with those things. I did want to see in the show, and we didn't get this, and I think we will see it in the books. Just something between Tyrion and Sansa, right? I mean, they're still in some ways kind of married, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think they'll be husband and wife, but I would just kind of like a scene of them kind of talking about it, right? And stuff like that. So that I would like to see something like that. I don't know that Rickon's going to die. I think in the show they were kind of like, here's another guy we need to get rid of.
We don't know what to do. Yes.
We don't know what to do. So I do think it's likely, there's a lot of characters in the books that die in the show, and you're like, these people are totally alive, right?
Yeah,
they're totally alive. I mean,
Yep.
Lady Stoneheart, big one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, she does die, but big, right? It's kind of a big deal. Mance Rayder, whoa, that's a big, a big change. Some sort. So I think it's pretty likely. I would say that it's possible. Let me say that it's definitely a possibility. I'd say it's at least 50-50 on Rickon. That he doesn't die in a similar fashion. So there's definitely some of these theories. Over the years, I think I've thought less and less of the idea of Tyrion being a Targaryen. Uh, we'll see. I mean, unless you do some big Tyrion, Danny, John thing to make it all work. I do think Azor Ahai is going to be something that happens and is real and is bigger, because it's way bigger in the books than it ever was in the show. So that's kind of that. So I think some of it is likely in the books.
Yeah, I love this because it's like, it's sort of our wish list, right? You kind of you hope all of this maybe would, or a lot of it anyways, would turn out the way that Sir Adam lays it out here. And I think there will be some dynamic of Blackfyre versus Targaryen. I thought that was cool. It was kind of like, oh, that'd be kind of a neat little, like, subtle way to do it. Gurm's all about subtlety. So that's interesting. I just don't. Well, to your point on Rickon, he's already, like, supposedly he's already dead, right? I mean, a lot of people believe that he and Bran are killed, and Theon is the one who can say they're alive. I feel like as soon as Theon says, hey, they're alive, and then Rickon is killed, it's just like, what was the point? What's the point? And maybe that's what George wants to do. That's something he likes to do, or whatever. It's the unlikely thing, or it's unexpected. You think it's going to be a big deal. He's been in hiding. We're going to bring him back, and then boom, he's gone. I mean, maybe, but a lot of times those children, though, are way more valuable when you look at it realistically as a hostage, or someone you can negotiate with, like this bargaining piece. You do get people, just like we saw in today's Arya chapter that we're covering. You do get people who you kind of want to, like, emotions get in the way, and then you just decide, I have a hostage here, but I'm going to kill him, and donezo, and we kind of lost our bargaining chip there. But I think Rickon is going to possibly live. Now, is Davos going to become Lord of Casterly Rock and all of that? I don't know about that. That seems that is pretty crazy. I actually kind of thought maybe more so they might lift him up as someone who, like, this new house for Storm's End. I thought instead of Gendry and
Davos getting Storm's End.
is that, like, he has all these his children, his wife. He often thinks about that, and he's just this unlikely person who people love him, and that would be one of those threads that George would say, that's going to be a good one for you guys. You're going to like that. Now, this other one with Rickon's dead. Like, okay, George. Well, it's give and take with him. So yeah, there's a lot of that. The whole dragon thing, though. What do you think? You've always believed that we're actually going to have the Horn of Winter, though, play a big deal in this, and that we're not going to lose a dragon north of the Wall, because they don't pass. Because in the old history text, they won't fly over it.
We could have a dragon north of the Wall, but it would. I don't think that it's going to go down the same way. So in the show, right? Viserion is one of the dragons goes north. The Night King knocks it down and takes it, and then the Night King uses that dragon to destroy the Wall, right? So it's possible that the dragons do fly north of the Wall, but I think it's only after the Wall comes down with the horn.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that makes sense. I mean,
or it's possible, or maybe they think they have the Horn of Winter, but it's actually maybe the horns are switched, right? And the dragon binder, which they think they have, is actually the Horn of Winter, and then something like that. Yeah. So then they blow it. Oh, now they can control the dragon that would be up there for whatever reason, and then they use the dragon binder. But I think there's going to be, the horn is going to be the kind of, it's going to be because of the horn.
Yeah, so it's gonna be more like, that's gonna be a bigger element, and
for sure.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. So, anyways, I mean, Sir Adam, I like this. I do like a lot of this, and I think it is, cool to think about. I even think, Tyrion being king, and maybe, Bran goes back. I even had thoughts like, well, maybe Bran actually just becomes king in the North. I love the idea, though, of Sansa being queen in the North. I think that's actually pretty cool too. I don't really know how that's gonna land. This was cool. This was interesting, because it is kind of taking every prophecy or every little theory that was out there and saying, let's make it true. How would it all work? And I love the spirit of that, because it's like, God, that's exactly what we were thinking about preseason 8, and so who knows.
Yeah. Absolutely, yes, yes. Thank you, Sir Adam, for sending us that. So, okay, all right. As well, with that, it is time to say farewell. So we want to thank you guys for playing the Game of Thrones. In our next episode, we will be discussing Chapter 31, Catelyn 3 of A Clash of Kings.
If you like our podcast, don't forget to subscribe, like us, write a review, leave a comment, or send us a raven at btkcast@gmail.com.
We will see you in a week, and remember that winter is coming.